Welcome to Spell Hall, the home of Major General Nathaniel Greene. We're actually entering through the rear of his home right now. If you come here, over to the right side when you walk in, is the caretaker's cottage slash visitor center. We have our gift shop in there. There's our outhouse and our well. And here's the home. This is our main hall, and we're actually looking at the front door right now. When you first go to the right, here's our dining room. Further down on the same side, we walk into the parlor. Sure, you can hear our authentic and original 1770s furnace going right now. There's Nathaniel Greene right there. We're going to jump across the hall into the library. That's the general's wife, Katie Greene. He called her Kitty. Moving on through, we're going to get right into the kitchen. You'll have to excuse the appearance of everything right now. We're in the midst of winter transition to get set for next season. So a lot of things don't look as they normally would during a tour. We're going to head upstairs. Go straight to the right. And here we are in the general's room. I'd love to carry this painting right here because this particular guy is Nathaniel Greene. Although he would not have been in the boat with Washington, but we don't need to get into that right now. Over here, this was Elizabeth Margaret's room, or you could even say Katie Greene's room, the general's wife. But Elizabeth Margaret was the last Greene to actually live here, and she died in 1899. And you can see we left this room to be quite a bit Victorianized to match the era of when Elizabeth Margaret lived here, compared to the rest of the house that's been restored back to 1770 condition. Across the hall here, this is Jacob Varnum's room. This is the general's brother's room. He was co-managing the property with Nathaniel the whole time, and when Nathaniel Greene went to war, he actually came and lived here full time and managed by himself. We won't enter the attic, but I will show you. There's our attic stairs. It actually goes spiraling right up the stairs into the attic, and then there's a little bit more that actually takes you right to the roof, and you have access to the roof through a hatch up there. Here's some people call this the war room, some people call this museum room. A couple displays set up, but it's more, this is the open area of the tour to be able to have customers walk around and take a look in here. All right, so that's the tour of the house. But we're going to take you around the rest of the property. We just acquired some more this year, about 34 more acres added to what we've already had. bringing us up to about 50 acres now. We've always had trails here, but with the acquisition of the extra land, we actually have many more trails that we're going to take a walk around. As we do so, I'll tell you about General Greene and why we're here in the first place. Let's go this way. So we're going the opposite way from where the visitor center was. We're walking around the house, and I don't know if you can see it yet or not, but there's a barn off into the distance. That's our newer barn. It's actually an education center still in the making, almost complete. So that's the barn right there. If you can see it, if you look to the right of it, you can see the addition that's being put on. Will make everything complete. So here's the front of our home. Now, as you can see, especially with the upstairs window up in the center there, it's not offset, so you can see that this was the front door. As we look at the front door and then look past our cannon sitting right here, in the distance you might be able to hear our waterfall, but just down where I'm pointing over there is where the iron forge was. The iron forge is actually the whole reason we're here in the first place. Nathaniel Greene grew up about 14 miles from here in a place called Potawatomi. It's in Warwick, Rhode Island, right at the East Greenwich line. And his father, who was a Quaker minister, owned an iron forge there, and everything that Nathaniel Greene's ever known was working with iron. This property right here, his father purchased in 1742. And it's set dormant until the 1760s, when he decided to put the iron forge on the land. Nathaniel Greene and his brother Jacob, as they got a little bit older, actually started to manage this forge. And in 1770, Nathaniel gathered the rest of his brothers and they all built his home. This is usually a pretty good view if you ever wanted to take a picture of it. So it's not bad, considering they really didn't know what they were doing when it came to building that house, but here it is 250 years later, and we're able to show you around it. And we love doing that, by the way. We are open for tours, not currently, but we're open from April till the end of October. From Friday till Monday. Typical hours are 10 to 5. We hold a lot of events, whether it's reenactments or campouts and just various other events throughout the year, into this field that you see here. Well, here's our barn, by the way. We just walked past it. Walk closer to show you the foundation to the addition. The addition is for storage and restrooms right here. Not bad, huh? I don't know if you can see people walking right there. That's actually the old railroad tracks that's now turned into a walking / bike trail. It's used pretty heavily, and there's an entrance to our fields and to the homestead's property right there. But we're gonna head to the trails, because at the trails we have several things we need to check out. Our trails are pretty decently long. I'd say all together, if you were to walk all of them, you'd have around 3 miles worth of trails. As we get closer down here, there's a good chance you'll start hearing the waterfall. We have actually 2 waterfalls now. You'll get to see both of them. So here's our first set of trails. We're actually now behind the stone wall, and there's the homestead off in the distance over there. And as we come over here, we have a chance to go left or right. We're actually going to head over to the right, and actually we're going to scratch that. We're going to go over to the left, because I believe there's something you need to see down here. When I talk about an iron forge being here, this is the area that you actually get to see what was the iron forge. For instance, right in front of me right here, you can see the indentation, or the missing earth right there, and that's where one of the water wheels were to actually run the trip hammer forge. Here's another one right here. This one's much more prevalent and easily seen. But we know that there was at least 5 trip hammers here at one point in time. As we're down here, this is really not kind of part of the trail, but still easily walkable. You get a good view of the speedway that was created to get the water diverted, and it's actually coming right in front of me right here and going inside. So that's the railroad tracks and the bike trail right there going underneath, and just to the right over here is where our waterfall is, you know. But we're actually walking where the speedway would have been right here, on how they diverted the water and able to get the Iron Forge to work. So in 1770, things are going pretty good here. The house is built. He's living here full time and able to manage what's going on. And in 1774, after a brief courtship with Catherine Littlefield, he asked her to marry him. They were married not long afterwards, and she didn't get to spend a lot of time with him because in 1775 he felt the need to join the local militia. And actually wasn't joining the local militia. He got together with a gentleman named James Varnum, and they actually created their own militia unit called the Kentish Guards. If you go to East Greenwich, the Kentish Guards building is still there and still workable. And he was there. He actually was Private Greene when he was in the Kentish Guards too, by the way. I think that's important to know. In militia units,